Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am pleased to welcome you to the first Top Women in Security Philippines Awards. Security has traditionally been a male-dominated business. As threats increase in number, complexity, and themselves diversify, a more robust and diversity-informed response will be required to effectively counter these threats. Women increasingly stand to enhance our responses to security threats and bring fresh leadership styles, varied experiences, unique perspective, and emotional intelligence to security challenges. Philippine Women in Cyber Alliance, SecurityMatters Magazine, and the Women in Security Resilience Alliance launched the Top Women in Security Philippines earlier this year and opened nominations on March 8, 2020, with a mission to help recognize Filipino women in security who have been made significant contributions to advance the security industry and shaping the path for future generations and professionals. For those who have just tuned in, I would like to greet you all a lovely Thursday morning. As we are about to begin, here are some of the guidelines during the event. Firstly, please mute all your microphones if you are not speaking. Secondly, listen attentively and participate actively. And lastly, of course, let us all have fun. Thank you for your cooperation and your attention. On behalf of the Philippine Women in Cyber Alliance, PWCA, in coordination with Women in Security and Resilience Alliance, the WISECRA, and Security Magazine and Security Matters Magazine, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you. We appreciate you taking time off your busy schedule to join us today. To kick off this morning's program, we are pleased to have Ms. Mel Migrino, Vice President and Chief Information Security Officer of Meralco and subsidiaries, to deliver the welcome address. Ms. Mel, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Tin. Hi, everyone. Good morning. I am actually pleased to see quite a good number of people attending this meeting. Welcome to the very first welcome to the very first awarding of women in security in the Philippines. This event is actually made possible by the two influential partners of the Philippine Women in Cyber Alliance. So I'm referring to the first one is actually WISECRA. So that's the Women in Security and Resilience that is actually being headed by Bonnie Batlin. And then the second one is actually Security Matters with Ace Esmeralda as its editor-in-chief. So Bonnie and Ace, thank you very much. Also, I would like to acknowledge the local team of PWCA and the team of Security Matters. So that's Teen, Monette, and of course Lai, together with the rest of your team who worked hard in organizing this event. Also, I would like to acknowledge Mr. Grant Leckie, who actually provided us the guidance all throughout, actually, the whole process of the evaluation of the awardees. Maybe you might be wondering, why did we actually come up, right, with this program? The awardees are actually based on the following key attributes. Well, the first one is we wanted to recognize the high level of achievement in their respective domain expertise in security. So it could be information security, it could be data protection, could be cybersecurity. I believe wherein most of our awardees later would actually come from. It could also be a facility security or physical security, that being the case. We also noted their significant contribution in terms of innovative technologies and practices that they have actually put forward. We also look for candidates who have demonstrated leadership. Developing teams, taking care of your people is actually vital when you are actually to run a security shop. And of course, ultimately, we're looking for someone whom we can refer to as a subject matter expert, someone who we can say a thought leader, could be a thought leader in the industry, or it could be within the respective organizations. I believe these are the core characteristics that empower women in our society. I would say women are actually change agents. Okay. We are strong and effective as we are given adequate authority to actually demonstrate social influence in the academe, government, public sector, and the private sector. And we should celebrate actually for what we have achieved. With our collective efforts and with the guidance from this newly formed community, the PWCA, we believe that women will be instrumental as we tread the road in the new normal. So thank you very much. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. So I think, Tin, we should be able to proceed.
Thank you, Ms. Mel, for the wonderful and encouraging opening remarks. Going to our next speaker is joining us today from Canada. She is the co-founder and executive director of Security Partners Forum, the first of its kind agile international network of security professionals, bridging all domains and security discipline. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome Ms. Bonnie Butlin.
Good morning, everyone. I'm delighted to be with you today to celebrate this first iteration of the Top Women in Security Philippines. My name is Bonnie Butlin, and I'm the International Coordinator of WISECRA. WISECRA was formed in 2015 as a subnetwork of the Security Partners Forum, which I'm the Executive Director and co-founder of with Grant Leckie. The SPF was created in 2011 and is a first of its kind international agile network of security professionals bridging all domains and disciplines of security. The SPF is a plug and play construct with some 800 participating security related professional associations, networks, and groups, as well as various institutes. It quickly became clear that women in security around the world were facing many of the same challenges, and that a non-hierarchical network of women in security groups within the larger SPF Agile network would be beneficial for women security professionals who would like to network, share practices, and professional resources. WISECRA quickly grew and now has more than 60 women in security and resilience associations and organizations participating from around the world. And like the SPF and WISECRA, these awards are a first and unique as part of a global initiative to recognize women in security and cybersecurity. Today's awards were inspired by the inaugural Top Women in Cyber Europe Awards in 2019, which we were approached to assist in facilitating. They were a great success, and the top list of top 50 women in cyber in Europe was published in 2019. Cyber in Africa also expressed interest in a similar recognition of African women leaders in cybersecurity, which we also were able to assist with, and the winners were announced last month. We realized that other regions and countries as well had a similar appetite to highlight and recognize the achievements of women in security, but that there really was no such vehicle for doing so, let alone across regions or internationally. WISECRA has been pleased to partner with women in security groups and professionals on the ground, media partners, and local and regional panels of esteemed judges for the awards. We're also excited about the fantastic celebrations such as this one today, with the Philippine Women in Cyber Alliance, SecurityMatters Magazine, Mel, Lai, ACE, and their fabulous teams. WISECRA, in partnership with women and male allies in security around the world, are celebrating not only with the Top Women in Security Philippines, but also with Latin America, Africa, Canada, Singapore, India, and Malaysia. That is, this event is not only a celebration of outstanding women in the Philippines, but it's also a celebration alongside other esteemed women in Latin America, North America, Europe, Asia Pacific, South Asia, and Africa. This is a huge groundbreaking achievement that I'm so proud to be a part of. It was achieved within a very short period of time, with some great collaboration, and despite the challenges of a global pandemic, which really speaks to the importance and value of this recognition and the momentum behind this global initiative. These awards are an opportunity to recognize and celebrate successes among us. They provide support for future success, encourage, strengthen resolve, and highlight excellence, leadership, vision, persistence, and resilience within our communities. They inspire. For women and men coming into the security disciplines, including cybersecurity and other disciplines of security, These awards may help identify where successful careers, opportunities, and the potential for innovation exist. And together we're able to benefit from each other's expertise and experiences and are better able to overcome similar challenges together rather than alone or in sequence in isolation. So congratulations to all of the winners and to all of the outstanding nominees. It has been our pleasure at WISECRA and the SPF to have worked with you and to continue supporting these important initiatives that build on the strengths, quality, and resilience, not only of our cyber networks, but our human networks. So with that, I'll hand it back over to you. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Bonnie, for that enlightening and insightful presentation. It is also a great pleasure for me to introduce our next speaker, who will be talking on security convergence. He is the CEO of Arslan SRSPH and Matters Magazine Editor-in-Chief. He is also one of the few certified anti-terrorism specialists in the Philippines, or CATS. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Ace Esmeralda.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? Can you grant me access to share? Screen sharing, please. Good morning, everyone. I would like to congratulate everyone, especially the top 10 women in security. I'd like to thank also Ms. Bonnie, our friends from the other side of the planet, and the team of Mel, and the team of Security Matters. So let's proceed with my short presentation. This is just a talk on what's really happening in the world now. What is the role of women in cybersecurity, physical security in a VOCA world? So probably just to refresh ourselves, VOCA means volatile world, it's uncertain, it's full of complexities, and obviously it's very ambiguous. So let's put it in the context of what is really VOCA world in our profession. So we live in a very volatile world. You can probably see that in a lot of news reports that you pick up in your daily news feed. There are so many things that is happening. No? The incident in Lebanon has created a lot of speculations, a lot of conspiracy theory, and a lot of people cannot just believe it's an industrial accident. So in the volatile world, we really need to be agile. No, it's his ability to cope quickly to changes. And then obviously, if you can see, if we go out from our rooms, from our conditioned cubicles, and then close our laptops, you'll find out that the world really is uncertain. And so what we need there is a foresight, which is the ability to see beyond the obvious. So sometimes if we're just in front of our devices, we usually see what is obvious. We see all the numbers, we see all the analytics, but the analytics may not be really giving us what is really out there, especially if the world is so complex. No, any action that can have unintended consequences. No, so we live in a network, whether it's in a real network in the cyber world, or it is a network of friends, or it's just like a network, like a spider web. If one part gets affected, the whole system feels the impact. So really what we're gonna do there is that if we deal with complex things, we look at cohesion, the ability to act as one. So the challenge here is that with Mel's group, we are really trying to have that vision of the team of Bonnie in creating a very cohesive and united women's front, no? Sort of really focusing and making the women in security more cohesive. We work together in order to have the same message on security. Because in a world that is ambiguous, we have one reality but multitude of interpretations. But in the cyber world, what else can we interpret things? No? When we do our work, we only see the numbers, we only see the source code, we only see the infrastructure, the architecture. What else is there to be interpreted? But when we go out, even scientific facts can be interpreted differently, but especially by other people who are not in our profession. So what's important is that we have shared standards and common grounds. So we are constantly at risk, and the risks are growing bigger. So my key points today in this short talk is that in this world, disaster may happen anytime, anywhere. As long as hazards exist, when you go out from our rooms, go out from the buildings, the hazard is there. So managing risk is one thing, being able to bounce back better from a disaster or a shock is another. So we know this in our DR. How do we bounce back? How do we develop or revive our systems quickly? So you can see here that risk management is more important than disaster response. But resilience is more critical than risk management. So our systems, our networks should always be resilient, not just robust. Okay, so that is the stand of Resilient PH, which is the partners of Security Matters and Ace and Associates. So we live now in a VUCA world, and our answer is vigilance, understanding, collaboration, and action. So as professionals in the cyber and physical world, in terms of security, we must be able to see things ahead. No? So I foresee. I always tell myself, what do I see in the future? No? So we look at trends. We look at what are the businesses with nationwide influence, especially in the Philippines. So if you look at all these mentioned companies or industries, these are the things that are heavy and dependence on the connections of our professions, not just in cyber security, but really on the physical security side. So what is now the challenge to the next generation, or I will say the new normal? So in the new normal, we have to consider that what is the logic of the industries that we are in? It's always about finance. It's about money. I just read a while ago that they say that war is always a war of banks, of financial institutions, because even during the war, people has to make guns and bullets, and they make money for that. So we have to consider that what is the role, or what is the logic of the industry that you are in. I know that the top 10 women and those who were shortlisted by my fellow jurors, we know that we are, or you are, from different industries, especially in the Philippines. So what is really our expectations among professionals is that we have the awareness in the emerging issues. We wake up at the morning and say, oh, what is the decision of the president? No, what is the decision now of the government? Are we now going to be federalized? Are we going to be thinking about the local government only? Are we going to go global, or we are going local? So there are buzzwords like the downsizing, right sizing, budget cuts, which is always that like a sword to us in the profession, because who's gonna be cut off when the business are not doing well? So this is the thing, the slide. This is a world we deal with technology, but what's important now is that we have to share the IT and cyber knowledge to almost everyone. Because if we operate in a world wherein the people are really so, let's say, so new or newbie, or they don't understand what is really as simple as technology or really touching a cell phone, then we are increasing our risk of dealing with people who might sabotage or destroy or just practically test our resiliency in our system. So let me connect to you that as cyber and physical security leaders, we should always be resiliency leaders also. We must be able to understand and work in a VUCA environment that is fast-paced, that is multi-threat, high technology, big data. But even if you are good in all these 4 items, when you go out, when you open your cell phone, you have to deal with fake news. Then a lot of fake news will somehow brings you into the what reality of the world, outside from our world, inside our cubicles and in front of our laptops. But then you can see that the importance really in our profession is convergence. So in the world of I4C, which is intelligence and information, we can see that these are the areas of convergence. There is also that cybersecurity and computers. To the others on the right side, a lot of physical security people will look at computers, no? They look at all devices. While us in the cybersecurity, we look at the different things, no? Deeper things that we need to really work with other professions so that they understand what we're doing and they vice versa. Okay, so these are the areas of convergence, especially now in the world of pandemics and disaster. In the Philippines, we're facing a lot of say we might have a double whammy because we have already COVID pandemic, and then we have the possibility of volcanic eruption of Taal again. And we always have that probability of having 26 typhoons in a year. So right now we have how many typhoons in the past? 4. So we still expect 22 before the year end. So we might even have a lot of double and triple whammies. So the convergence thing is really important. When people look at war rooms, they will talk about nerve center, but then for us it's very different. No, we look at how we are structured, how we are connected, how what are our RTOs and RPOs when we did our BCPs. So the convergence thing, the last thing is for me is in the networks and communications. So what's really important in communication is the handling of information, the way we talk in social media. This is the risk and crisis communication. This is very important because sometimes when we are dealing with numbers, we are dealing with the codes, we're dealing about our world, no, in cybersecurity and internet, we sometimes forget that the other people, their languages are different from us. So for me, the I4C things are focused on the few words that covers everything. Now, these are just the 5 keywords, and they are all within the nerve center. So I encourage everyone, when you talk about convergence, is that we look at what is our nerve center, because it's just like as human beings, our nerves, our nervous systems is the one that gives us the analytics for ourselves, no? Whether we run, we defend, or we prepare, and then we always want to look at things ahead. So the senses are there in our nerve center. So my parting words is that let us always be mindful that what is the role of cybersecurity and physical security professionals, especially now to the limited and growing number of women in the industry. So I hope that we will all be part of the digital transformation. Thank you, everyone, and congratulations again to all the winners, and congratulations to the organizers, to the team of Bonnie and Mel, and I would like to welcome also the presence of our speakers, and thank you for gracing this occasion. On behalf of Security Matters, thank you for everyone, and hope to see you next year again with more people joining us. Thank you, and have a good day.
Thank you very much, Sir Ace, for providing us a unique point of view on security convergence and resiliency. We are also pleased to have here today the Cybersecurity Principal and COO of Jefura Incorporated to tell us more about the Beyond SIM. Allow me to introduce Mr. Ned Serate.
Hi, good morning, everyone. So I hope everyone's, I guess, doing as best as you can during this quarantine. And then I guess I need to access the share screen as well. There you go. Yeah. So this morning, I will briefly tackle, I guess, how do we move forward from our SIM, right? So typically over the past few years, we've always looked into the SIM as a way for us to comply. But then beyond compliance, what do we really have in our infrastructure? So we paid for it in a, I would say quite pricey solution, and we have deployed it. It's now running. What then? Right. So we know we've seen in the discussion of ACE a while ago, right? It's a very complicated world we live in right now. So in fact, every day, no, we're not even talking week on week, month on month. On a daily basis, there's always somebody being attacked. And the attacks, if you really look into the details, are becoming a lot more sophisticated than the attacks that I've seen and during the early days when I was practicing cybersecurity. So I flash on the screen right now, the very, very famous MITRE attack framework, just to show how fast things actually evolve. Used to be, it's a little more thin table. Now it's a lot more complicated. There's a lot of vectors of attack, right? And then we also, as cyber security professionals or practitioners, sad to say, it is already my mantra or my practice that we have to accept that we will actually be breached. No matter we do whatever we do, we will always be breached, right? So the question then actually for us is, what happens when we are breached? And how do we know we are breached? The attackers are really after only three things, right? If you look at this this framework, right, they're only after about stealing your data here. There could also be after just damaging your reputation. You can deface your websites, delete some of your files. And then maybe as a more different motivation, not typically mentioned in Ace kanina, financially motivated probably, they might do ransomware on your infrastructure. The rest of the things here are just the prelude to this eventual goal, which we call mission target in this environment. To get to the end, right, they first need to do initial access. And then from initial access, probably they will run some malware so that they could extricate some credentials, change their privileges, discover whatever assets you have that might be interesting to them, and then do the final execution of their attack. So just an example. So our goal actually then is that we cannot prevent them from entering on the left side portion. Our goal is actually to detect them so that we can prevent them from actually reaching this part. So even if we are breached on the left side, it's pretty trivial. Worst thing you can do is actually recover a certain workstation, maybe do a bootload image from your library. You could also probably just make a certain user in your infrastructure be part of your MFA group, right? In so doing, you can actually mitigate against the attack. So the question that should be in our mind then is, how do we detect them when typically majority of them will be unknown? They are unknown because our controls in place are not yet capable of detecting them, okay? Because they are more sophisticated now. So over the past 2 years, right, we have some success in curving against, I would say, I would like to think a big majority of these attacks, and I have some examples later on. And how we do it actually is by beefing up the SIM, not just as a SIM where we consolidate all information in our infrastructure, but rather wrap around it. We add in user behavior analytics. What does UBA do? It actually tracks and baselines every user within your infrastructure to see how they normally interact with the infrastructure. Then we add attacker behavior analytics. What that does is actually track everyone that's coming from the outside to see how they would try to infiltrate and breach your infrastructure. We look at the processes and applications that's running in your assets to see if there's actually malicious behavior happening beyond what your endpoint protection can actually detect. As a last measure, at least infrastructure-wise, we also deploy deception technology. Deception technology is actually, I would say, a very key component to be deployed in your infrastructure so that anything that is unknown has a potential to be detected the moment it touches your honey server, your honey files, your honey users, honey credentials deployed within your infrastructure. Of course, for compliance as well as for important specific files, you need to deploy file integrity monitor file access monitoring to see who is actually using your files. And then you need to couple your analytics with concurrent, very recent feeds coming from various sources so that you have a bigger chance of actually detecting your new attacks. The most important part here is actually when you deploy your honey network, as well as the other components that I mentioned before, you need to have native and correlation against everyone that I mentioned. Because having every component in an island, while it is nice, it is good, will no longer be sufficient as we move forward in this very complicated uh, uh, digital world that we live in right now, right? So having the capability to detect attack beyond logs is important, but it is also important that you are able to actually make some sense of what happens in every aspect or element of your security posture. So your goal in consolidating all these assets are very simple. There's just four folds actually. First one, you use your SIM, your UBA, and your EDR so that you can unify all your sources of data within your environment. Once you have unified everything, and the reason for that is, again, if you have silos in your infrastructure, you don't have enough manpower as it is to look at them in a consolidated manner, much more when you have silos. You don't really have enough people then. So after you unify your data, you need to be able to detect what attacks are actually relevant within your purview, right? How do you detect them out of the millions and millions? So if you look at the screen or the picture behind this, in this example, like there are 164 security events within 24 hours. This number is about typical for a company with around 4,000 computers. Physical, virtual, doesn't matter, workstations. All in all, our baseline is about this. An enterprise with around 1,000 computers we see in the Philippines will generate between 10 million to 20 million security events per day. Those are security related events only, not transactional, not any other events, right? So how do you go through them with our limited resources, right? So you need to be able to support our manpower with the tools so that they can actually detect, prioritize alerts in a more, I would say, simple manner, a more efficient manner. So you need to be able to go down from 164 million to 6,000 suspicious events, and from this to 2 potential malicious events. So jumping from 164 million to 2 incidents that you need to check right now is a pretty big leap. And this should be our goal or our aim as practitioner in the defense of our infrastructure. Lastly, when you detect it, what do? Then you need to respond, right? So again, with our limited resources, it becomes more compelling that we need to be able to automate our responses. There's a lot of common forms of attacks that can be automated. What's very common for us now, we see our spams, we see our malwares loaded in our workstations. If it's common enough, you can automate it. In automating it, you actually free up a huge amount of time for your people to threat hunt now for things that is not very easy to find within your sets of data. So let's go to some real use case. I know I'm going through it very quickly, very briefly, because we have a short time. But I just want you to give an overview on what needs to happen once you have deployed your SIM, right? So some real use cases in terms of how and when we evolve, right? So in this incident, number one, so we actually detected a anomalous traffic connecting to a honey server. Now, this is a very interesting case, and it's quite um, sophisticated in that sense. We look at the incident, and then we saw that this specific X actually has an attacker behavior flag present in the system. Normally, this would also generate an alert, but a connection to your HANI infrastructure actually takes more precedence over that, because any attempt of reaching out to your HANI infrastructure is already by default deemed malicious because it is not part of your normal operations. Anything that goes there, you have to assume it's already malicious and you have to take precedence over others. But in this case, upon checking the narrative that was created for this incident, there was also an attacker behavior flag present. So upon checking that flag, you see it in your screen right now. There's actually a command that was run. This command, when you look at your process screen from your server, it's just one line, but because it's so long, it will be truncated. It might seem, yeah, you don't understand it, it's normal, like that. Parang kalimutan na lang natin. But if you really study it, when we looked at it, the command actually is more than 1 megabyte long. One line, one single line of command is 1 megabyte long. And if you look at it, it's really hard to understand. You cannot understand it. So this whole incident, for us to get down to the bottom, actually took our team 2 days to at least make sense out of it. How we did that, we did a lot of, I would say, random cases to check how we will interpret it. And then we understand eventually one of the cases, oh, it is actually encoded in base 64. So we were able to decode it. You see it, it's not very legible because it's still very long, and it is still encoded. So this is actually what we call another phase of obfuscation in the attack. So it's, if you give up easily, then that's it. You will leave it as it is because you still cannot understand it. Moving forward, you still checked it. We understand then that, oh, it's actually a gzip file. So you unzipped it, and then comes out another C# code. So it's an attack that is executed in source code, which if you compile, actually, we came out with this last encoded obfuscated code, which going through the same process that we did a while ago, came out with this. So what happened with this attack actually is it establishes an encrypted tunnel to a server somewhere in Hong Kong. Based on the nature of this environment that we saw this, it is a very high likelihood that it is actually state-sponsored attack. Yeah, so the nice thing about this, actually, while we're showing this attack was actually prevented because we detected it in time. It might be able to, it might have connected to the CNC server, but it was not able to extricate data based on the traffic profile that we have analyzed. We're able to come out with this analysis because we were able to, the system that we had in place was able to record this specific command that was done. And using this information, we were able to track additional servers in the infrastructure that the system is not covering. And we were at least able to advise the customer to actually, reformat and reinstall the servers. The second one is a lot more simple, right? In our infrastructure right now, we monitor everything and we would see green. And similar manner for this infrastructure, it looks like that until we integrated and had visibility to the cloud infrastructure. Because normally for us, we are very, very blind when it comes to the infrastructure outside our physical perimeter. So the moment we integrated, suddenly we see this. If your institution has legitimate business only in, say, 4 cities, and you say this happening, there's really only one conclusion you can get out of this, is that there's already a concerted global effort to try to breach your infrastructure. You can see from the bottom, there's an average at any time, right? There's about 2 to 3 types of wrong, mistaken access. Just phrase it, mistaken access to your infrastructure from countries all over, South America, Africa, and all these other places. And you have no business there. You have no people there as well. The last one right? This is very interesting because there's actually a question raised, right? Not all in our enterprise infrastructure are actually assets that you're allowed to scan and you're allowed to actually install anything inside. Because the claim is that if you touch anything in that, it might go down or it might die. Typically, we're referring to industrial applications here. So in this specific incident, it's more related to medical though. Um, we found actually, and the question is, how do you detect that, right? So you actually surround the specific group of assets with threat-fed sensors. So you install passive sensors around this facility, and then just look at all the traffic that's coming in and out of that specific group. We found in one of the, I would say, larger hospitals in the Philippines that one of their MRI machine is actually infected. That MRI machine was infected with what we call an orange worm command and control malware. Based on our study and research, we found out that it's not yet doing more aggressive tactics. It's just actually gathering information. It's primarily doing, I would say, espionage, I guess. Hopefully, if you got your MRI scan there, it's not able to retrieve that information. But the nice thing about it, it's detected even if you're not allowed to touch it, right? So how do you do that? You install passive sensors, put your threat intel feeds inside the passive sensor, aggregate the data from your passive sensor into your SIM, and do analytics there. And in so doing, at least you're able to see things like this. So what do you need to do, right? You need to feed your SIM with as much information as you can. Kung nagbabayad ka pa rin based on EPS right now, right, you need to talk to other people. There's a lot of cases as we go through the industry in finance, government, right, health. The moment they're actually attacked, the SIM actually fails to perform its job because it cannot process anymore because you're exceeding your license. And that's really bad because that's already an attack happening and you cannot even analyze it. And then once you have your data, you need to correlate against all your event sources, right? Lastly, it's no longer enough actually for us to consider that our responsibility actually stops here on the left, which is your physical infrastructure. Lalo na ngayon, right? We're in this quarantine over the next, I don't know, 1 or 2 years. A lot of our people will be working remotely. There's more and more deployment of cloud-related solutions as an outcome of this, and of course as a business decision because of the cost savings that it generates. You need to integrate, as you can see from the previous examples that I've shown, you need to be able to integrate your remote users and your virtual infrastructure into your visibility because once they're breached in the same manner, you're breached also, right? So yung challenge actually for everyone is that we are a community. We should not be on our own. In all these things that I've shown you a while ago, we were able to detect majority of the attacks because we're getting feed from a lot of the solution users that are contributing to the community by sharing their experiences that this is the attack that's happening, this is actually how we detected it, and this is how we're resolving it. They actually shared it to our community so that we can gain from their knowledge and jumpstart that process of detecting these potentially unknown attacks that we could not have detected without those information. Okay, so a challenge to PWCA is that no, I've seen the capabilities and credentials of the participants in the competition. It is very impressive, actually. So the challenge to everyone, right? I would assume we are all here because we want to improve the situation as much as we can, regardless of our gender. What you have done in your life right now is, I was very impressed. Now the challenge I'm I'm giving to everyone here is that to go beyond your individual capabilities as members of PWCA or PWCA as an organization, but to be able to pool these unique experiences that you have so that we can enhance or ensure the safety of our digital community. It is becoming very difficult actually right now for everyone. We have limited resources, we have limited people. So the only way we can have actually a chance is we actually help each other. Okay? And of course, last word, congratulations to all the awardees. I mentioned it so many times. I'm very much impressed of what you have accomplished so far. And I think in the next years ahead, there will be more things that you can actually contribute to this community. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Ned, for enlightening us on Beyond SIM. Okay, let's just keep with Dr. Rolly. We're going to call him in a while. Okay, now, without further ado, allow me to officially open our awarding ceremony by introducing our panel of judges. May I call on Ms. Monette?
Thank you, Tin. Now to introduce our panel of judges, our jurors, Ms. Bonnie Butlin. Bonnie is the co-founder and executive director of Security Partners Forum. She is a member of the editorial board for Journal of Strategic Risk Management and Global Advisory Council members of the Institute of Strategic Risk Management, among others. Ms. Mel is the Vice President and the Chief Information Security Officer of Meralco and its subsidiaries. She has an extensive background and has demonstrated leadership in information security, IT security, governance, and technology risk management. She is the leader and founder of the Philippine Women in Cyber Alliance. Ace is an ASIS International Certified Protection Professional and one of the few certified anti-terrorism specialists in the country. He is the president and managing director of Ace and Associates Risk Management Incorporated, and it is an asset protection and risk management consultancy with a focus on business continuity and risk assessment through resiliency lens. He is also the CEO of Arslan SRS Philippines, editor of SecurityMatters Magazine, and Chief Resilience Officer of Resilient.ph. Ned Serate. Ned is the consulting principal of Gefura Incorporated. He has helped build, operate, optimize, and secure IT infrastructure for more than 20 years throughout Asia and the Pacific. He has been one of the internet pioneers in the Philippine landscape back when 9600 BPS was still sufficient to serve a network of more than 1,000 users. Dr. Rolando Lansigan. Doc Rolly is a multi-degree professional having earned 3 bachelor degrees, a master's degree, and a doctoral degree. His professional expertise span from being an educator, data privacy advocate, to security.
Of course, this event would not have been made possible without the support of our organizers. Security Matters, Philippine Women in Cyber Alliance, WISECRA. We would also like to give special thanks to Grant Leckie for his invaluable contribution throughout this event. Thank you again to everyone who was part in making this momentous event a success.
Hello, everyone. While waiting for Dr. Rolly to fix his setup, I would like to invite everyone to stay tuned with the Security Matters and the group of Mel and Bonnie as we continue with our events promotion. I understand that the group of Mel, the women in security in the Philippines, you will have your own future events with us in Security Matters. So I hope that every participants here, especially the awardees and the candidates, will really support the future efforts as we move on to webinar series and promote the presence of women in security in the Philippines and Asia Pacific. We need to support everyone, and then I hope that um, you stay tuned with us in our Facebook pages, especially in our LinkedIn pages. Follow us there. No? You can see the links in our promotion materials. Follow us in the LinkedIn's because you can see that Ms. Bonnie has a lot of activities in line, especially in the area in other continents. I think there's one coming soon in Africa, and we want to support our colleagues there also. Is Dr. Rolly ready now?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. Okay, Doc.
Yeah, thank you. Mel, please. Thank you, Mel.
We would like to introduce one more speaker. He is the data privacy consultant, lecturer, DPO certification trainer, and former chief of national privacy. He will be talking to us about the women in technology domain. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in extending a warm welcome to Dr. Rolando Lansigan.
Okay, thank you. So good morning, and thank you, Ms. Mel, and thank you to your organization for the invitation to talk about the topic on women in the tech domain. Can you play the PowerPoint presentation? Thank you. I would like to start the session by asking the question, would you say that tech still a men's sector in 2020? Or is it true that there is still a gender gap technology when it comes to women versus men in the field of technology, cybersecurity, and the likes? Maybe yes for now, but things are changing. We must acknowledge women's contribution to tech, which, let me tell you, are quite surprising. Let's examine the latest women technology statistics and see for ourselves what the current trend and what's in store for women in technology and its challenges. These data are based in the US studies coming from different sources. In the Philippines, there is a dearth of this kind of studies. However, this will be a very good basis worldwide as well as in the Philippines to determine the strength or weaknesses in terms of the statistics of women in technology. Next slide, please. In the world of today, computer science and other related courses are still mostly under the male domain. Current trend suggests that's about to change. As always, let's start with some statistics and see where they lead us. Is 2020 still a men's domain in technology? Well, women in technology statistics says that in 2020, only 25% of GAFAM's employees are female. GAFAM means it's an acronym for Google, Apple, Facebook, Amazon, and Microsoft. 57% of all professional occupations in the US for 2017 were held by women. In 1985, 37% of all US bachelors in computer science were women. Only 37% of tech startups have at least one woman on the board of directors. 63% of men in tech firms view their companies as equal employers. Regarding gender, the ratio of men to women in engineering is 5:1. Also in the Philippines, there are a lot of schools and colleges and universities that offers engineering. Well, basically, these are all male-dominant courses. 25% of Google's leaders on a global scale are women. You might think that there would be gender equality technology by 2020, this year. The number of females studying or joining this field is still wanting. In the Philippines, as I have observed, this is still a male-dominant field. The Commission on Higher Education has released its data that's around 70% male and 70% female graduates of IT education, which includes the programs like Bachelor of Science in Computer Science, Bachelor of Science in Information Technology, BS Information Systems, or BS in Entertainment and Multimedia Computing. It is very interesting to note that the first coder in the early 20th century was a woman. Now let's discuss further some of these statistics when it comes to women in technology. Slide 3, please. Next slide. In 2020, about 25% of GAPAM's employees are female. 23% for Google, Apple 23%, Facebook 23%, Amazon not applicable, Microsoft 23%. 71% of women have worked in tech company with strong male culture. That's according to Trust Radius. According to Women Technology Stats for 2020, only 29% of women survey participants have worked in companies where there was a boys club or male-dominant clubs. The majority of ladies that have worked in male-dominant environments have felt excluded, unsafe, and uncomfortable. 63% of men in technology companies view their companies as equal employers regarding gender. That's according to Tech Radius. The majority of men in the field consider their workplaces diverse when it comes to gender. Only 40% of women agree to these sentiments according to Women in Technology statistics for 2020. 36% of female in tech say that they haven't seen any efforts by their companies to close the gender gap. Next slide, please. Only 37% of tech startups have at least one woman on the board of directors. Progress is also slow regarding the number of women on board of directors and C-suite executive positions in tech startups. The percentage of men in both roles is 63% and 59% respectively. In 2018, only 20% of all jobs in technology were held by women. The percentage of women in tech varies in different countries and continents. For example, in some European countries, women are only 9.29% of the total workforce in technology. 74% of girls express the desire for a tech career in their fields. The number of female undergraduates in computer science and other related courses confirmed that most of them choose differently. 18% of computer science bachelor's or major universities in 2016 were women. That's according to NCWIT. Only 18% of undergraduate computer science degrees are held by women. Girls may be enthusiastic about a career in computer science, but obviously not many of them follow that dream. There are many causes for that. Some say that the lack of inspiring female role models, which includes this group, is one of the main reasons. Probably we can push that later on in terms of some of the recommendations of these studies. In 2017, just 26% of professional computing jobs were held by women. Again, this is a global statistics. For example, in some European countries, that number stands at 9.29%. 25% of all leadership positions in technology were held by women in 2015. It is a difficult enterprise to climb the ladder of success. Still, even women succeed. Next slide, please. In 2015, only 11% of all executive positions in Silicon Valley were held by women. That's according to Business Insider. 85% of Facebook global tech-related jobs are occupied by men. In 2014, one of the three employees in Apple, 1 out of 3 employees in Apple, Facebook, and Google was female. According to Apple's annual diversity report of 2018, 39% of Apple leaders under 30 were women. In 2018, women held 24.61% of all US tech jobs. In 2018 also, women in the US received $250 less than men when it comes to software development jobs. The gender pay gaps for software developers in the US is still an issue in many fields. For example, in the financial sector, women earn $350 less than men. Another interesting fact is that the younger the women, the smaller the pay gap. The female to male earnings ratio in the gap group 16 to 24 in the US for 2018 was 88.51%. 17% of all Fortune 500 CIO positions are held by women. The tech sector is still male dominated, and yet there are some women who are proud to have made a difference. Next slide, please. In conclusion, what's in store for the future? Women are gradually finding their way inside tech companies. More and more opportunities are becoming available for female graduates in the field. Well, given the rising need for software engineers and web developers, it is hardly surprising that the world is making more space for women in technology. Then what holds women back? Some of the key factors that stop women from pursuing careers in technology are actually social and financial. This include probably lack of mentors, lack of female role models in the field, and some are gender bias and derogatory behavior in the workplace, unequal growth opportunities with male workers, and lesser wage for same position. Those factors are also responsible for the high quit rates among women in technology jobs. 50% in 2018. Companies nowadays are struggling with gender issues all over the world. Just to recap, women have proved their value in the world of technology. On the global scale, we are heading towards 40% women in tech positions in the next 5 to 10 years worldwide. And with a good reason, as we saw, they provide a much needed impulse to humanity's technological progress. Let's hope that in the future years, there will be more and more women in technology. The bottom line is don't hire women in your company because you have to, or because you feel pressured by society. Hire women because it's worth it. The statistics has given us with plenty of evidences of why that's true. So it's been a great talking to you. Thank you and good morning, and congratulations to all the awardees and winners of this year's Philippines Best in Cybersecurity. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rolly, for taking time out of your busy schedule and honoring us by your being here today to talk to us about these women in the technology domain. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, we would like to invite everyone to turn on your video as well, as we call on Ms. Mel Migrino and Ms. Bonnie Butlin to announce the names of this year's top women in security Philippines.
Hi again, everyone. So I'm pretty sure all of you are already excited. So let's proceed with the formal awarding of the top women in cybersecurity, or in security per se in the Philippines. So I will be actually calling on the awardees. So the awardees will be called in no particular order. All right. So Tin and Monette.
For the first awardee,
Yeah. So for the first awardee, we are proud to have Miss Charmaine Valmonte.
Charmaine Valmonte is a certified risk and cybersecurity professional with 30 years of experience in IT, cybersecurity, information security, and resiliency. May we call on Ms. Charmaine for her acceptance speech?
Hi, good morning. Thank you. Good morning to everybody. So once again, I'd like to thank everybody for being here this morning. And I'm extremely honored to be receiving such an important award, as long as this is, along with other fellow women in cybersecurity, as Dr. Lansingen had said earlier. We are a minority per se, not only in just security field, but also in the space of everything in the world. No, if you look at the things that we're basically the bigger workforce. No, but I'm glad to see now that we have a lot of women here today. I'm extremely grateful for the recognition. Of course, this profession, this journey we share along with many others here and across the globe. We face these challenges together in an effort to protect what we now call the gray space, right? That gray space we've been talking about in terms of securing that new space that we now live in. We're a team of cybersecurity professionals serving on a wider scale, and we really have one goal: to protect our way of life, especially in this time where we live in this digital space, right? This is a testament. We're on Zoom today, right? This is a testament of what our daily life looks like. This particular chapter is as challenging. Each mission is crucial as we continue to serve as what I would call a cyber warrior, right? We need to bring the security to the forefront, building the human firewall, so to speak, as we always say. It's our job to take security to the boardroom, at the organizations, the communities, the schools. We need to be evangelizing security and the vigilance around this, because this is, the bad guys are out there and they only get better, right? They get better. And winning this award, this really would not be possible without many inspirations across my career, right? I have received from my mentors, past, present, coaches, my colleagues, for whom I have the utmost respect and for whom I derive the strength to challenge myself. And these times are as challenging. I think today it doesn't matter, male or female, we need security professionals. And I'm really glad to have what do you call this, the opportunity to be able to share this with you. I sincerely thank each and every one of you behind this program for helping me reach this stage where I can proudly share the stage with each one of you. The real goal here is to build an army of cyber warriors of the future, those who believe in the cause, right? It takes a certain kind of crazy to do this job, right? I'd like to thank my family first and foremost, right? Again, not just the professional, but the traditional, our schools and the like, right? With the GK family, 21 years or about 10 years ago, I was just an information security professional, and new in the Philippines. And basically, they took me on and allowed me to share this advocacy with you.
Thank you, Ms.
again.
Herman Palmonte. Maybe call on Ms. Mel to
Yeah,
announce the
thank you
next.
very much, Charmaine, for the very insightful acceptance speech. Again, my sincere congratulations to you. So let me call on the second awardee. So the second awardee is actually Miss Maria Elizabeth, I would say Mais de Guzman. Mais, congratulations.
Hey Mel, really good to see you again, right?
Yes.
So
Likewise.
just really want to say thank you to WISECRA, PWCA, Security Matters, and everyone. So really, Mel, it's really good to see you again. Bonnie, and to the folks who made this possible, right? It's really a good experience or a good feeling to be esteemed and honoring women here today in a male dominated industry, as Doc may have mentioned earlier, right? So just really thank you. I'm very fortunate enough to be part of an organization that pushes diversity as well, and really thankful that there's really a group of women, or at least this group like PWCA, WISECRA, and the likes, right, that really helps women to excel. So thank you very much, and just really look forward to growing together.
Thank you, Mais. Actually, she instituted Manila being the Center of Excellence for Security Orchestration Automation Response for EY globally. She has been an honorary of the esteemed women who inspire in her previous company and is one of EY's brand ambassadors now.
Yep.
Maybe, thank you again, Mike, for the inspiring speech. Miss Mel.
Sorry, si Ruel kasi yung wife ko, galing next shift, so nakatulog.
Okay, so let's go to the next awardee. So the next awardee, from how I know her, is actually a strong advocate of data protection, data privacy. So let me call on Maria Francesca Montes. Cheska, congratulations.
Yes, good morning, everyone. So, thank you for this award. Actually, last year, I attended this conference in US wherein I'm the only woman attending of that. And one of my comments after the event was, why am I the only woman here? And that makes me go back to my college in UP, and then talked about my career and invited them to focus on this career path on cybersecurity and data privacy, because I predicted or I projected that it's going to be the next big thing in a few years' time. And lo and behold, we have this pandemic, and everyone's at home, and everyone's connected with the internet. And uh, in this time and age, when this field is dominated by men, it's quite inspiring for me and also for women awardees to have this kind of award. One because we're only few in this field, and we wanted to invite more. And in fact, in my team, I always inspire them to be better at their jobs, and not independently of their gender. So there, and I would like to thank the panel of the panel who awarded us, and also my family, my mentors, our CEO Edwin Bautista, our mentors also, Henry Aguda, who invited me to write a book on cybersecurity and data privacy. Also my mentors in the telco before, who inspired me to do cybersecurity and explore more, Anton Bonifacio and Joey Rufo. Also, of course, I work with Miss Cha Balmonte, who's also very inspiring for me to pursue this field. And no other experience can hold or mold us is than experience itself. Like being in the situation room and doing things at the same time, being there all the time with VRs, and that's that's um that's the best way for us to learn in this field, really. And thank you again, once again, to everyone. I hope this award will also inspire young women out there to check on this field and see if they have a niche in this area of industry. Thank you.
By the way, Cheska co-authored one of the first data privacy book published in the Philippines back in 2016. She is also one of the first awardees during the first National Association of Data Privacy Officers of the Philippines. May we call him for the next awardee, Ms. Mel?
Okay, the next awardee is actually, if I'm not mistaken, a young cybersecurity professional by the name of Trisha Ventura. So Trish, great job.
Trisha Liu Ventura is a top-performing infrastructure security director and certified insider threat program manager with expertise on enterprise-wide IT security and cybersecurity operations, information security and data privacy policies, standard and incident management, and data loss prevention. I'd like to call on Ms. Trisha for her acceptance speech.
Ms. Trisha here. Okay, jumping off to our next awardee.
Okay, our next awardee, if I'm not mistaken, is actually the youngest across all awardees, and a cybersecurity enthusiast. So let me introduce to you Miss Justine Ko.
Justine is one of the youngest cybersecurity enthusiasts, mentor, and leader on the areas of cybersecurity assessment, cyber governance, and security engineering. She is also directly contributing to the risk and fraud policy design and architecture. May we call on Ms. Justine for her acceptance speech?
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm really thankful for this award. Thank you for the panel of judges that actually recognizes my contributions here in cybersecurity field. So I am truly honored to be a part of the Philippine top women in security, along with the other amazing ladies here in our field. So this is truly an achievement, one that I did not actually expect to be getting this year. Thank you to my mentors and to my colleagues that have helped mold me to who I am today. So I am actually very glad that PWCA was founded earlier this year and to be part of it. A community wherein ladies can actually share our security knowledge and queries. I hope that PWCA continues to grow as more and more ladies join the security field. So thank you again to everyone.
Thank you, Justine. We are proud of you.
Thank you.
And now for our next awardee.
The next awardee is Isabella Ojeda.
Ms. Isabelita Ojeda, she serves ISACA Manila for almost a decade, advocating knowledge sharing and access to educational advancement for young professionals and women in technology. She has earned the respect and confidence of this male-dominated organization to rise and assume the leadership position in 2020. May we call on Ms. Ojeda for her acceptance speech. Again, may we call on Ms. Isabelita Ojeda for her acceptance speech.
Maybe we'll move on to the next awardee then. Congratulations, Isabelita. Our next awardee is Christy Ray Liwanag. Congratulations.
Through her training and awareness program, she was able to reduce phishing by more than 90%. Christy alone also moved additional security programs forward, such as mobile device program management. She kept the project on track and maintained great working conditions with project managers. May we call on Ms. Christy for her acceptance speech.
Hi. Good morning, everyone. First of all, I'd like to organizers of this event, of course, the members of Philippine Women in Cyber Alliance for bringing this recognition to the Philippines with our first ever Top Women in Security Awards. This is such a huge milestone in recognizing the role and increasing representation of women in cybersecurity. This will definitely lead to inspiring more women wanting to join our workforce that will result to a more diverse and more innovative cybersecurity world. So I'm extremely honored to be part of this event and receiving such an important recognition. I'm truly grateful, so I really wanted to thank our panel of judges for recognizing my work and my credentials. And of course, I would like to thank my very good mentors throughout the years who have helped me explore this profession. So without them, I wouldn't have succeeded and I wouldn't have pursued this career further. So I'm thankful and I'm glad I did. I'm here. Thank you and good morning.
Congratulations, Christy. Our next winner, awardee is Elisa Pantastico.
Elisa Pantastico, she has always demonstrated exceptional ability to deliver at pace using her ability to positively engage people at various levels. She has always been able to complete every task and continues to be an extremely valuable resource to the organization she serves. May I call on Ms. Elisa Pantastico for her acceptance speech. Moving on to our next awardee, Ms. Bonnie, please.
Okay, well, congratulations, Elisa. The next awardee is Lieutenant Colonel Francel Margaret Padilla Tabalupa.
She is a Philippine Army Signal Officer, a cybersecurity expert, and a VIP security professional who currently serves as the head executive assistant of the Presidential Advisor on Peace, Reconciliation, and Unity. Her years of service proves her worth and her zeal to impact significant change with her passion to advance advocacies in the field of gender, peace, and security. May we call on her Lieutenant Francel for her acceptance speech?
Hello, everyone. Well, for starters, the selection is just a shock. For graduating from PMA, I began my career in information systems as a young and dashing second lieutenant. I kindled the burning desire to further my skills in my almost 25 years in service, embracing the fact that IS or IT is an ever-evolving field where an idle mind goes to obsolescence and an equally challenging feat, especially for women. We all lately have been feeling a bit overwhelmed with the pandemic and all, but the scale of IT remains essentially all this. To all cyber women out there, you are all cyber heroes. Here's to providing motivation for any woman who wants to trek this path, the path that is less traveled, and give her faith that yes, she can do it. You can be a cyber diva like all the gorgeous ladies here present. It is a common idea that men are superior than women in the cyber arena, but we stand here in front of you to disprove this fallacy. Let us all join hands and show the other women that she is not alone, and we are with her, and that cyber could be very well also another women's comfort zone. That is why my chosen advocacy is to train and spread the word about the magnitude of cybersecurity. Congratulations to all my co-awardees, and I would like to leave with a note of gratitude to the selection panel, the sponsors, Dr. Herbosa and Lieutenant Colonel Vasco for my nomination, to my boss, Secretary Carlito Valdez, my colleagues, Teresa, Kat, Paolo, and all others who have helped me, my encouraging friends, and to my family, who is ever there and has my back, come what may. My brother Mark, Ate Eileen, and to my rock star sons, Justin and Gerald, and Suzy. And ultimately, to the Almighty, this honor is for all of you. When all other words are swept away, only two remain forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel. We also have Miss Trisha Ventura and Miss Isa back in the Zoom award ceremony. May we call on Miss Trisha Liu Ventura for her acceptance speech. Are you here, Miss Trisha?
Am I audible now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry for that, but thank you. So good morning, everyone. Thank you to the Philippine Women in Cyber Alliance, Women in Security and Resilience Alliance, SecurityMatters, and the panel of judges for this honor. Security is rarely recognized for good reasons, so it is usually only heard when a leak, a breach, or a hack has already happened. Oftentimes, our stakeholders are unaware of the effort necessary to ensure security in the digital landscape. This is amplified for women. In my last 3 assignments, spanning different companies and industries, I have been the only woman in a team of men. Surprisingly though, it was a woman who mentored me and supported me into a career which led up to this day. As we celebrate the silent heroes in the virtual world, I'd like to share this honor with the information security professionals, especially the women who are keeping organizations secured at all times. Thank you again for recognizing me as one of the top 10 women in the security field in the Philippines. And I'm sorry for the issues that I had earlier. Thank you.
No problem, Trisha. Good job.
Thank you, Trisha. May we also call on Miss Isabelita Ojeda for her acceptance speech.
Hello, everyone. Hi.
Hi.
Yeah,
Hi,
wow. Okay.
Isa.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for calling me again. And again, I apologize for the technical difficulties I also had earlier. So first of all, I'd like to thank Philippine Women in Cyber Alliance, Women in Security and Resilience, and Security Matters for this honor. Congratulations also to my fellow women awarded today. Also, big thanks and congrats to Mel and Bonnie, who spearheaded these groups. It is great to see women helping and collaborating with each other to promote gender diversity and security. I hope the efforts that we have started would be sustained and would continue to pave the way for future generation of women leaders in cybersecurity or in security in general. Again, thank you and more power to everyone.
Thank you, Isabelita. Our final awardee is Roshi Abigail de Jesus.
Roshi Abigail de Jesus, she leads the implementation of operational risk and control management framework, implementation of operational risk and control management framework. She collaborates with senior leaders and business units in her organization to develop preventive strategies consistent with internal controls of the company and best practices. May I call on Ms. Roshi Abigail de Jesus for her acceptance speech.
I think you're on mute.
Yeah, Roshi is on mute.
Hi, sorry about that. Good morning, everyone. And first of all, I'd like to thank the Philippine Women in Cyber Alliance for this recognition. It's such a humbling experience. And, the people I worked with who paved the path for me to pursue the career, God has always been there, my family support. It's, again, very humbling and a great honor to be recognized as one of the top 10 women in cybersecurity. And people ask me how I thrive in the industry mostly dominated by men. I answer, why can't I? So, and I tell you, all of my team members globally is probably composed of 30% women. In fact, I'm a one-woman team in the Philippines. So women are less well represented in the upper echelons of security leadership. And that, the societal view that internet security is a job that men do, though there's nothing inherent in gender that predisposes men to be more interested in or more adept in cybersecurity, which can give women the impression that the field is overly technical and boring. But here we are. So congratulations to all my fellow awardees, and I have high hopes that we will increase our representation in this field as well as thrive and be recognized for all our efforts. Again, thank you, and I look forward to working with you all and contribute in best practices in this industry.
Thank you, Roshi, and congratulations. Congratulations to all of the awardees. You are all an inspiration to us. May we request everyone to stay with us until the end of the ceremony for a group photo. And now, may we call on Ms. Mel Migrino for the closing remarks.
Okay, so on behalf of the Philippine Women in Cyber Alliance, WISECRA, and Security Matters, I would like to actually express my sincere gratitude to our esteemed judges, speakers, and of course our awardees. I just saw that we also have friends as well as partners across the globe. So thank you very much for making this event successful and special despite the challenging times. We will continue to hold this event on an annual basis, as what my partner Ace actually mentioned earlier. Please look forward also to the series of webinars on cybersecurity. Our first webinar is going to happen next week, so we will bump actually the invites on that. We will talk about secure data wipe technology by our partners from Blanco Technology. And ladies and gentlemen, before we end this ceremony, right, I would just like to share with you a quote from Margaret Thatcher. So it says like this: if you want something said, right, ask a man. If you want something done, ask a woman. So good day to all of you.
Thank you, Ms. Lastly, we invite everyone to please share your video so we can take a group photo for this memorable event.
So Monette, how would it go? Is there going to be like a tile?
Yeah, I've just been staring at my camera, thinking, preparing.
Okay.
I'm the same way. I was looking at it like.
Yeah. Okay. So we got a photo now. Can we take one more, Lai? Thank you. Okay. Everyone, please smile. 1, 2, and 3. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Miss Mel, Bonnie, Dr. Rolly, Sir Ned, Sir Ace, Lai. Thank you to the awardees. Congratulations to everyone. And thank you for joining us today. Congratulations again. You are an inspiration to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Congratulations to everyone.
Thank you.
Miss Mel, Manette, nice seeing you guys. Bye.
Nice to see you too, Mara. Thank you for joining.
Bye, Mara.
Miss Mel, hope you're well.
Yes, you too. You take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye.